All right then, Frank. Good to see you in the flesh, not over a Zoom call for once.
It is. I don't forget what you look like.
Yeah, I've grown.
You look much younger on Zoom.
You must be really excited about this. All the talk of the anniversary, and I just had a joke with Joe a minute ago about marinating fights. This one's marinated to death, isn't it?
Not much, but I think we've all anticipated, and it's turned out, for you've got to make you make the best out of bad, and the fact it's on my 40th anniversary, I'm delighted with it, because you couldn't get a better fight than this to celebrate it. I'm really, really pleased about that, and this is going to be something special. These two guys are at the top of their game, and obviously they know what's on the line. There's a lot on the line for the winner. The winner next year is going to be the man. 2021, he'll be the guy who will be fighting the winner of Joshua and Tyson. In other words, he'll be fighting Tyson probably down the line.
It's slightly knowing that 1 week later we might have 1,000 fans in. Typical, that, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's sod's law, isn't it? But anyway, it is what it is. And but we'll have some people in for Anthony Yard fight, which is the following week, and Lyndon Arthur on the 5th.
Yeah, and I saw you mentioned that about getting some of the sort of key workers in.
We're not selling tickets. We're going to give them away to the invite the key workers and the Chelsea pensioners along. And as a few people have criticised me for inviting the Chelsea pensioners because they might be at risk and so forth, we will look after them. And bear in mind, I'm as old as the Chelsea pensioners, so I wouldn't be putting myself on the line if I didn't think it was safe.
And so this fight, we just had the press conference, and I mean, it feels like we've had about a million different press conferences for this now, because every time it keeps getting moved back. We're hoping that's the last one, right?
Oh, I'll let you know on Saturday.
It's one of these situations that we keep having it in lockdown. You're never going to believe it happens until it's happening in the ring, right?
Well, that's it. Till they're in the ring, anything can happen. As we know, anything can happen. But look, I think we're pretty safe. You're all in the bubble. We're all in the bubble now, so it's a good place to be. It's probably the safest place to be. So fingers crossed, unless somebody falls down the stairs or something, we're going to be okay.
And obviously, you mentioned the bubble there. It's kind of like it's strange because it contains how big the show is, but it's one of those where you're getting people that aren't normally boxing fans mentioning it, which is always a good sign, right?
Of course it is. I mean, when we announced this, I had the old cabbie driver rule, and when we announced it, getting a cab anywhere, cab driver. Oh, when those two fellas fight, always, you're in boxing, all that stuff. That fight, I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see the fight with Daniel Dubois and Joyce. Everybody's talking about it. And I think it's going to, and it deserves to be talked about, because it is a tremendous fight. Guys at this stage of their career, professional career, it doesn't normally happen. So hats off to them, and and I think between all of us, BT and Queensbury, we deserve a little pat on the back for it.
And John mentioned it in the press conference there. It's one of those fights where you feel like it's got all the recipes that will never go wrong. It's two guys who love punching, and it's heavyweight fights.
Between them, each of them had one opponent who's gone the distance with them. All the others have been knocked over. They are big men. Look at the size of them, phenomenal punchers, and look at the shape they're in. Well, if you're not going to get in shape in lockdown, you're never going to get in shape, and they are in tremendous shape. Shapes of their lives. They really look good. They know how serious it is. And what I find intriguing about it is that both of them got such tremendous self-belief. They really do believe they've got the beating of each other, and I think that's why it's going to be so special.
And domestically, we talk about your 40-year anniversary. Domestically, when do you think you've promoted something as exciting as this and as big as this?
Right, I think over the years, obviously I've had a few fights. Probably recently was George Groves and James DeGale, gold medalist, and his foe from the amateurs in George. And again, that was a really keenly fought fight, and there was a winner, which was George Groves, but they both went on to win world titles. It's not the end of the world for the loser, but that was highly anticipated as well. But this is, as I say, there's boxing and there's heavyweight boxing. That's the old adage. So seeing the big guys and knowing what that big prize is at the end, knowing that you've got in this again, Great Britain, great heavyweight Britain. You've got Tyson and Anthony Joshua, two best, holding all the belts between them. You've got those two guys. You've got lineal champion in Tyson and WBC champion, and AJ holding the other belts. And then these guys are coming through and look like they're going to fight one of them down the road. Don't get no better than that.
Is it nice as well? Because we've been so proud of the British heavyweight scene over the last few years. You know, British heavyweights have been dominant for a few years now. And this is like the next step, the next stage where we can get them into the spotlight again, especially with it being on subscription just on BT Sport 1. It's a lot of eyes on it, an opportunity to really expose the mainstream to the next step of British heavyweight boxing.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head there, Rob. It's exactly what it's about. They're going to get tremendous exposure from this. And it's you know, as we said, it's the next guys coming through. And I think what's really, you know, really important is that the fans understand what is at risk is here with them. Because the winner, that number 2 spot in the WBC to Usyk, if Usyk fights Joshua, if Joshua beats Pulev, Usyk fights him, then they become the mandatory. If Joshua vacates that title, then Usyk will have to fight the guy. So that's what's on the line.